what would you say the days of the trumpets mean?
Yeah. Well, because I am of the understanding, as millions around the world are, that the seventh trumpet, there's a very good biblical possibility and a biblical case to be made that the seventh trumpet is the rapture of the church. Then, as you and I were talking, even before we came out on stage here, that that if the seventh trumpet is the rapture of the church, that means the first six trumpets will be sounded, these monumental signs to the world that time is getting shorter. They're like time markers. It's a countdown clock, if you will. These things will happen before the seventh trumpet sounds. And one of the things that I propose in my book are some amazing key words that are coded in to those trumpet visions of those first six trumpets that find fulfillment or find meaning, possible meaning, in modern day, relatively modern day historical events. And because, see, here's the thing that I tell folks. When you look at Revelation, you've got to remember, John was on a rock island 2,000 years ago. And if I use the word if, of course I know and I believe that he was shown what was going to happen. If he really was shown the end times, that means he was thrust at least 2,000 years into the future, right? At least into our times and beyond, of course, because he saw the great white throne of judgment and he saw the new heaven and the new earth. Yes. So he was thrust way into the future. Two huge burdens that John had to carry for the rest of his life. One of them was, how does a man who's riding camels and walking everywhere he goes, 2,000 years ago on a rock island in the Roman Empire, how does he describe nuclear bombs and nuclear plant disasters? And how does he describe warfare and tanks and helicopters and skyscrapers and interstate highways and automobiles and airplanes and space shuttles and internet and computers? How do you describe that when you're riding camels?
Yeah. Think about it.
So he has to use the words that he has. So there's a lot of symbolism and a lot of imagery. Plus, of course, you know, the Spirit of God is giving him this. And from time to time, you'll hear the Lord say, write this down. The name of this is, for example, and we'll talk about several of them in a moment if you'd like, but the third trumpet, for example, he says, and the name of this is wormwood. Whenever you see the Scriptures, especially in Revelation, giving you the name of something, that requires a little thought and study. Then you get to the fifth trumpet, and the name of the messenger that brings all of this about, Apollyon, Abaddon. You get to the sixth trumpet, and this will happen on the Euphrates River. You get to Revelation chapter 7. The two witnesses are the olive tree and the lampstand. I mean, these are all keys and clues. You know, you guys were talking about Daniel and about the end times and the speeding up of technology and transportation information systems. But another thing it says in Daniel, Daniel gets this vision of the end times. And the angel says, now seal this up. Watch. Until the time of the end. And then we look at these word connections and we see them tying precisely, not only the word connections, but the details of the prophecies, tying precisely into monumental world events, leading right up to what I believe that we're possibly getting ready to be in the edge of the sixth trumpet, which seems to prophesy a World War III scenario, and it says it takes place on the Euphrates River, which starts in Turkey, runs through Syria, runs through Iraq, and empties into the Persian Gulf, which is the hotbed of everything that is happening now. And right now, Israel is surrounded by Islamic enemies right now. They're completely boxed in, closed in, and their biggest supporter in the world, the Western supporter, is turning its back on them right now. We're watching the possibility, I'm not dogmatic about this, but I look at the Scriptures and I look at what's on the news, and I'm saying we're looking at the possibility of trumpet 6 blowing very soon.
Wow.